Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mopium Productions video. I hope you guys didn't miss me too much. I kind of went MIA for a little bit. Kind of accidental, kind of not really accidental, but I'm back today, and hopefully for the future as well. I won't be uploading tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I just simply will not be able to. Oh my god, I feel so rusty right now. Oh geez, okay. This is gonna be painful for me. But yeah, in today's video, I wanted to talk about an interesting concept that I feel like I haven't really heard anybody else talk about before, or like seen in any other kind of media or like book or song or anything like that. But basically, there's an argument that a show or an anime, I guess it's an anime. It's technically a novel that got adapted into an anime, but basically what the story is, or I guess what the author was trying to say is like, people who have to try harder, or people who are essentially LARPing, people who LARP get further in life than people who don't LARP. And I think this is a great time to talk about LARPing, especially because of how popular the term LARPing has become in just, I guess, normal language, or I mean, in the English language, meme language, whatever you want to say. Internet language, there we go. I feel like LARPing is very common now. And basically, in the story, the author was, or in the novel, the author was arguing that basically a fake, like someone who's faking it, or someone who is like constantly lying about what their real... Hey, hold on, let me rephrase that, because it's gonna sound really weird. The whole argument that the author was making is that people who know that they're not real, or they know that they have to try harder than people who already have things, get way further in life than people, like they just get way further in life. And unfortunately, I will say that the way that the author tries to relay this message is extremely degenerate, in my opinion, and it's really, really weird. And I haven't read the novel, but from what I saw in the anime, I feel like the anime takes it way too far with like some of the scenes. It's definitely a little degenerate. But if you want to go find it yourself, or like, try to understand what I'm trying to say, I would recommend you go watch the anime, and I will give you a warning. It's like a little degenerate. Actually, it's pretty degenerate. And I normally don't recommend this anime to I don't think I've really recommended this anime to anybody in my life. And that's because when I was watching it, I was extremely confused, and I had to watch a lot of video essays, I guess, to like completely comprehend what I was watching. And it doesn't help that there's so many different seasons, and that a lot of the story is not told chronologically. It's kind of all over the place, to be honest. But I think the author likes it like that. So, if you hate, having to go look up a guide on like what the order of watching should be, then I would not recommend this anime for you. But if you want to understand what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to like relay, I would recommend you watch the Monogatari series. And it's called Monogatari because each season has a different name. Monogatari, I'm pretty sure roughly translates to like my story, or just the story. And basically each season is called something Gatari, which means like this story. Sorry, it's been a while. Can you guys tell it's been a while? But basically, one of the seasons is called Nisemonogatari. I believe. I'm pretty sure it's called Nisemonogatari. That's the season that I'm trying to talk about right now. And, you know, if you want a rough, like, synopsis of what Monogatari is, it's basically just, like, a bunch of it's like this guy who deals with a bunch of girls who have a lot of issues going on, and essentially their trauma or like their mental scars or whatever gives them a specific power or like a superpower. I think it's been a while since I watched the show, but for some reason I was just really thinking about the one that stood out the most to me was this season, which is the Nisemonogatari season. It was the one that stood out the most to me because I was like, wow, like usually a lot of people, like usually people tell you to not lie. Usually people tell you to like, you know, be who you are or be who you want to be. Like, you know, like keep your sanity or like keep your personality, keep your characteristics. But I feel like this season just straight up says like, no, it's okay to be fake. It's okay to lie. It's okay to LARP. It's okay to LARP. It's okay to LARP. Because it will take you way further in life than someone who's not LARPing. But yeah, that's the season that stood out the most to me, and I highly encourage you guys to watch it. But that season is like really degenerate in my opinion. Some of the scenes in that is very questionable in my opinion. The whole show is pretty questionable, and to get most of the references in the show and to like fully comprehend some of the jokes, because I guess there's like puns or jokes or whatever, but you can only really understand it if you know the Japanese language. And trust me, I haven't gone that far to, you know, I don't like the show that much. Like, I think it's a good show, but I would probably have it in my like top 15 shows because I feel like you can learn a lot from the show, but at the same time, it's very, very difficult to comprehend. You definitely, like, I feel like you definitely need to, you need to have experienced things before you watch this anime, or you need to have a better reading comprehension, or I guess just literature comprehension in general. And I'm not sitting here, you know, saying like, oh, this is a real smart ass fucking anime or like a smart ass story or whatever. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's gonna take a little bit of brain power. It's not something you can just casually, you know, sit down and watch and turn your brain off. It's gonna need your attention. You're gonna have to pay attention pretty hard to this anime. And I watched it, I want to say back in 2020. It was either 2020 or 2021. And honestly, it's not one of those animes where you have to watch it at a specific time in your life to like fully understand the meaning or like, you know, fully comprehend the themes of the anime. It's definitely one of those shows where you can watch it anytime, you know, you can revisit it whenever you want to. And, you know, it's not an anime that stuck to me a lot, but it definitely made me more of a sympathetic person. It made me want to be a more sympathetic person. So I'll give the anime that. And I think it does talk about a lot of mature things that you don't really see in other like shows in general. Like it talks about a lot of things that I feel like are not talked about in a lot of other like media. And there is a good reason for that, because like I said, some of the things it talks about is pretty degenerate. Okay, like I'm being serious. I never recommend this anime to anybody, and because it's mainly because I'm scared of the like reaction I'm going to get from somebody, and they're going to be like, you watch this, like you've watched this. And I'm telling you, I swear that like a lot of the themes and a lot of the story, a lot of the you know, like life lessons you can learn from it is pretty big. It's huge. And it's just unfortunate that it's kind of layered in degeneracy. But yeah, highly recommend the Monogatari series. Or if you want to fully understand what I'm talking about, what I was talking about earlier, I recommend, like I said, Nisemonogatari. I think it's season, I want to say 3 or season 4. And like I said, the story is not told chronologically. It's kind of a mess, so it's okay if you bounce around seasons. And I'm pretty sure the chronological order of like viewing the show, like, you know, watching it just watching it how it would play out in universe is you jump around seasons like so much. It's kind of stupid. That was one of the big turnoffs for me when I wanted to watch this anime, because I remember a lot of people were actually glazing it and saying like, you know, it's one of the higher tier animes that, you know, you should experience. And yeah, I hate the watch order. I hate the chronological watch order. Some people say that, you know, you can just watch it, you know, how the seasons were released and how the movies were released. But I watched it in that order, and I was extremely confused as to what was going on in the story. And then I tried the chronological order, and it made a little more sense, but I was still confused as fuck. And like I said, I had to watch like a good amount of video essays to fully comprehend what show is trying to tell you in all these seasons. And like I said, my favorite season, Nisemonogatari, it's literally all about LARPing. It's about how LARPing is so much better than somebody who doesn't LARP. It's something along the lines of like somebody who's LARPing gives like their 200% versus somebody who's not LARPing is only giving their like 100% or like less than 100%, like maybe like 60-70% unironically. And basically, Nisemonogatari is basically just saying like, you know, that someone who's lying and LARPing is trying so much harder and will be rewarded so much more than somebody who doesn't give it their all, or somebody who's not trying as hard, or somebody that's, you know, not like their heart's not in it, basically. But yeah, go watch that season if you're trying to understand what I'm saying. Yeah, please subscribe, please subscribe, please subscribe, please subscribe.